How's it going, guys? And welcome to another session of the Let's Talk Show by Interlingua. As usual, I am your host, Mike Ruiz, and I'm so glad that you have tuned in for this week's show. It means a lot to me because we are covering something that I am very fond about, and that is art. As you know, we live with art every single day, from the music that we listen to maybe the movies that we watch. Yes, of course, you are watching art, everything related to animation, special effects, music, maybe a painting that you have on the wall, maybe some pictures that you see in an advertisement. Everything is a different form of art. Are you interested in art, or did you realize that you like art and you didn't know it? Be sure to leave that in the comment section. As usual, your participation is always well received. And for today, we have two interesting guests. Both of them are related to art in some way. But do they consider themselves artists? I think this is a very deep question because for what I have heard, it's all a matter of opinion. But we will find out what they do, what do they consider themselves, etc. So without further ado, one is a digital artist, the other one, you are very familiar with her. She is studying art as a major degree. Without further ado, let's bring out Carmen and let's bring out Hazen. Hey, yo, what's up?
Hi.
How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for being here. Carmen, thank you so much for returning to the show. Hazen, welcome, bro.
Hi. Thank you, Miguel. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you both. Nice to see both of you guys. So let's break the ice a little bit. Let's set the mood for the session first, which something very basic. In your opinion, guys, what is art? Carmen.
Well, I think it's very interesting that you think it's a very simple question because I think it's not. I don't know. I think it depends a lot on every single person, not like what they consider art or what they don't consider art. For example, if we talk about a school or these like rules for museums, things like that, there are some things that we have to consider, no, to say if something is art or not. But those rules change all the time, no? Like, I mean, probably the rules are going to be different now than in 10 years, no? Art changes all the time. Many people say that it is everything that humans create, everything that is beautiful, that comes from your heart and from your mind, that is going to leave a message to humanity, etc. No, like in general, that is the general definition of arts. But then, if you have a piece, no, you cannot say like, okay, you can check this and this and this, so it's art. And if not, it's not. No? So it's like difficult all the time.
Hazen, what about you?
Okay, I think I feel kind of the same way as Carmen does, because it's a very complicated concept that has evolved throughout time. Yeah, the definition of art that started back when the name came from, which is from the Greek word ars, which means a human activity. It's way different than the conception that in the Middle Ages people have. In the Middle Ages, for example, painting and architecture was not an art. Oh, sorry, architecture was an art, but painting was not an art. It was a craft. It was more of a craft kind of a thing. The current definition that I think, that I actually like, is that a work of art is a product of a human activity that provides an aesthetic experience, basically. So it could be a way of dancing, it could be acting, it could be a performance, it could be a painting, it can be an installation, be the installation, a movie, a comic, and so on and so forth. So that's the one that I like to stick the most. It basically, art can be defined as a human activity that as a result provides a aesthetic experience.
And based on that, guys, do you consider yourselves artists or creators, Carmen?
It's a state that changes, like, for example, sometimes when you are doing something like very specific, it's like, okay, I am an artist. Now, sometimes you feel like an artist, no? I always have mixed feelings, but I once heard that there are many ways of being an artist, no? So I think so. Yes, it could be.
All right. What about you, Hazen?
Well, I would consider myself both, really. I consider myself either a creator, because I do other activities that make me create stuff that are not completely related to art. But my profession, I always say that I'm a digital artist. I always put the word artist on it, because my products are, at the end, they provide the aesthetics. It's a aesthetic product. And I come from a background of traditional painting and engraving, so I grew up kind of accepting the word and saying it with pride, like, hey, I am an artist, this is what I do every single day, this is my passion, this is everything that I really, really love and I'm interested in. So, well, for me, it would be kind of both, or my profession is I am an artist. I am yeah.
Alrighty. Now, the questions that are designed especially for you guys. First of all, Carmen, as I understand, well, as you have mentioned as well in this session, you're studying your major in art. What branch of art are you specializing at?
The major itself is called Artes Plásticas, like only like that.
Oh, okay.
So we practice with a little bit of everything. We see, we are taught drawing, painting, sculpting, animation 2D, animation 3D, digital drawing, stop motion, photography. For example, right now I am working with lithography. It's beautiful. It's a lot of work, but it's beautiful. So I don't know. It's not a very specific thing, no? It's quite the opposite, like you can see many, many, many things. I really like, for example, also sculpture, things like that. But I don't do it so often because it is like a lot of work and material and money and time, no? And in the end, you don't know if it's going to come out well, no? To be honest, I am really loving the major right now, so it's cool.
All right. Hazen, you mentioned earlier, and as I understand, right now you're very active in digital art. But for our viewers, and for me personally, in your own words, how can you define digital art?
Basically, digital art is a medium. It's just another medium to create aesthetic products. It can be music, it can be movies, animation, it can be digital paintings, it can be 3D sculpture. Basically, it's all the arts, the traditional arts, translated into a computer and more. So that would be my answer. I mean, for me, digital art is that. It's when you make art with your computer, or would you make art through a digital, and your product is not necessarily a tangible thing. It's not a material, but it's more like it's zeros and ones, because that's what we do at the end of the day. If we extract what we really do is ones and zeros. It's a binary code that once you decode it through the computer, you get the work of art. I don't know if it's too complicated, but that's how I understand digital art.
And you mentioned earlier that you grew up in a very traditional style of art, which is, painting, drawing, etc. Based on that, how did you land in this category of digital art?
Okay, well, my career, I'm gonna start with that. So my career has been a huge roller coaster. I mean, I've worked in a lot of different areas that doesn't have to do anything with art, are not related with art at all. But when I started studying art, it was when I was 17 years old. I got into an engraving studio. That's why my first approach to high art. But before that, I took drawing lessons with my aunt. My aunt has been a traditional painter for years. She taught me how to draw, made basically cartoons, but it was more like a hobby kind of a thing. My original goal was to become a painter. I've always been in love with making images. That's my thing, to make images. And I was kind of enclosed in only painting. So I saved up, I finished my university, I saved money, and I went traveling. I had the chance to visit Europe and see the great masters. I came back broke, completely broke. I didn't have any money, so I started working as a tour guide. And from there, the fastest way to get back to drawing without spending too much on materials and not cluttering my room, because that's another thing. When you produce art, you have a lot of stuff all the time. Your house becomes messy and there's pieces all over. I mean, I love that, but back in those days, I didn't have the space to have that. So digital art gave me the commodity to make good stuff fairly quick without generating trash. I could learn at my pace, because it would let me erase as much as possible without any kind without trash. I mean, I would just make a new file or control Z, and it was very easy. So it let me work, come back, take courses, and apply them on the computer. So yeah, that was my beginning. Right now, I mostly do illustration work in digital because I fell in love with the medium. I love what you can do with the computer. And yeah, that would be it.
All right, guys. Now, Carmen, if I may, I would very much like to talk about what you do, what you create. And I mention this because I have seen some of your work. Actually, I saw one animation that probably hit the target in my case, because it made me feel very nostalgic. So, art with emotions. Do you consider art to be a form of therapy in some way?
I mean, yes. I mean, first of all, yes. No? I think it's important to never lose this capacity of creating something and feeling better through creation. No? I mean, if you can create something that comes from your heart and from your feelings, and it comes out as a beautiful image or a beautiful something, or, I mean, not even beautiful, as something, no? That people like or people are attracted to, that's like more than perfect, no?
It got me thinking. Something that you mentioned, that, I mean, studying art can be very expensive, and when you are trying to improve your skills, you end up with a lot of scraps. You end up with a lot of things that have no use, no more. So, based on that, what does someone who studies art go through in order to develop their skills, and are there any obstacles for it?
Okay. Well, I think there are many obstacles, and basically it's like the only thing that you have to do to improve is practice, no? Like, and I mean, for example, there are some people that are like naturally good at, I say naturally because it's like probably they practiced much more than the rest of the people, so that's why now they are very good at that. And it's like, okay, maybe for them it's like very simple, no? They only have to continue doing as they are doing, and probably they are also going to change something, no? Like you cannot stay like always in the same way, because I mean, you cannot do it. I mean, even if you do a drawing, no, 1 year ago, and then you try to do exactly the same, it's not possible. Sometimes it is difficult to continue creating, no? Like, and that is something that I suppose every single artist or person that works in art has to go through. Because I mean, if you want to have a life based on art and to earn money with that and things like that, you cannot really wait until the inspiration gets to you, no? It's like you have to push it and you have to continue creating. And sometimes it can be like frustrating, no? Because it's like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I have to, no? So I think it's important to always have like something else, no? Like, okay, probably I don't want to continue doing this painting, but I also have this drawing, so I'm going to do this painting for 2 more hours and then 1 hour to the drawing, no? Like, things like that.
As I understand also, Hazen, there are plenty of digital artists online, and websites, social media, etc. But also, digital art lends itself to be hired. So, you as a digital artist, what is the creative process that sometimes you have to go through?
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna grab just one part, the first part of your question first, because I would like to clarify something that is I think this is a kind of a misconception that it will be interesting to talk. Actually, yes, there are a lot of digital artists in the world, but the older I get, I see that the real pool of professional artists is very small. Let me say it like this: there's the young, the medium, and the seniors, and the great masters. Okay, so we have these levels. The level of the juniors or the people that are just starting is vast. It's hugely vast. Life goes, and they figure out that art is super difficult. It's extremely difficult to make a living out of art. So a lot of people start to drop out. They get to the next level where you still have a job. You've managed to get money from your work and to live out of that, or you have another job that lets you continue with your art, etc. But the pool of artists reduces, and this keeps going and going. I mean, this is not a competition. This is not a race. This is an endurance thing. It's how long can you continue developing your skill? How long can you continue practicing and developing yourself and learning until you are at the utmost top level? Because I believe that everybody can be at the level. My own level has fluctuated throughout the years because I work in different kind of things. But since I started to just focus and be serious and take the path seriously as, okay, this is where I'm going to get, this is the studios that I want to go to, this is what I have to do. I have to learn, I have to accept the trends. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you have to do. I have my own kind of plan, and you have to follow through it and just stick with it. And the years will go by. I heard this from a concept artist that worked in, he worked in an Assassin's Creed, in Halo, in Dungeons and Dragons. He told me, it's going to take you 15 to 20 years. There's people that make it right off the bat. They finish their college or the university and they get it right off the bat. But there's people that takes 20 years, 50 years, 30 years. So don't get discouraged. Now, the complete question was about how to stay creative. Because actually Carmen said a very difficult and hard topic, which is the artist block. Once you right now I am a commercial artist. I have aspirations of making high art, but right now I have to make commercial art. When you make high art, you have to have inspiration. You have to wake up correctly. You have to have a nice day. I mean, you have to be in the right mood to create a high art piece. It's very, very difficult to create something personal that you really want to say, this is the top of the top that I can do. You have to have you have to be in the right mood. That's it. But when you're a commercial artist and you have deadlines and you have to deliver every single day, like every single day I have to produce. I cannot just go ahead and say, sorry, boss, I just don't feel right. I cannot make it today. No, I'm on a salary. I have to deliver. So there are ways. I mean, when you do it daily, you achieve a level that is commercially viable. That's one thing. So once you have that level, you're comfortable in whatever piece of I was gonna say a bad word, but whatever piece of stuff that you create is gonna be acceptable for the commercial standard. So you have to make it. You just have to do it. It doesn't matter that you don't like it, but because you have that level already, it's gonna turn out fine, and you're gonna cover the day, and you're gonna get paid, and everything's gonna be fine. So yeah, it's much of an internal battle all of the time, but once you get going, it's incredible. I mean, there's every single day I draw, even though that I'm on vacation, or I'm just gonna have. It's like I'm sick of the work. I have the time. I'm just gonna sit back and relax. Even though that I have the time, I end up drawing, because that's another thing. If you are in this career and this path of life, you have to love it. Is that you have to really love it. So if you're not producing one day, I mean, this is not criticism. This sounds like criticism that people, if people just cannot produce. I understand. I've been through that. But you have to remember, if you love this, then why it's a pain? Then why are you suffering when you're making it? So that would be my answer, my honest opinion.
Actually, guys, thank you so much for everything that you have shared with us today. And I wish we had more time, but unfortunately, it's time to wrap things up. But before we do that, it is time for the, I don't want to say classic, but maybe traditional rapid fire session. Number 1, visiting museums or looking at pictures online? Carmen.
It depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you want to look pictures online, you can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and at least you see something you really like. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is beautiful. No, but it's difficult to find that. If you want to have like a more personal experience, if you want to see something in detail and experience the environment, a museum.
Hazen.
Yeah, I believe the same. I mean, I live in an island, so I don't have access to museums, and I rely mostly on books and wiki art and stuff, but I've spent top dollar to see museums. I mean, I don't care. It's the best. It's always the best to see the pieces of life. Always, always. Oh, well, for me, I really love to see this stuff live. It's impressive.
Okay. Speaking of art in a very general way, like maybe performing artists, musical artists, visual artists, plastic artists, and etc. Give me a living artist you would like to meet. Carmen.
Okay, there's this guy called Ibar. I don't remember what's his last name. Ibart, just like that. He's a Spanish illustrator, I would say. He basically creates digital arts. So basically illustration, but I don't know. He has something with the colors that is for me like so special. No, it's like every single thing he does, I am like, oh my God, you know. Like for example, I usually watch videos on my cell phone, no, like just like that. And he also sometimes has some videos on YouTube. And every time he releases a video, I watch it in the biggest screen possible, no, like, because I want to see everything like So yeah, I would like to meet him. He's in Spain. I may have to go to Spain one day.
Little monkeys, changuitos, for that to happen.
No.
What about you, Hazen?
Okay, I kind of have like a list, but I would just go with the top guys because I would spend too much time on this. First, Craig Mullins, the godfather of digital art, is my absolute god. James Gurney, whom I learned a lot of great techniques on how to depict light. I love his books. Guillermo del Toro, of course. And Neil Gaiman, the author of Sandman. He's a writer.
Sure.
Yeah, those would be 4 living artists that, woof, I would die to meet.
Now let's do the other side of the coin. Dead artist you would have liked to meet. Carmen.
I don't know. I mean, this is going to sound like really, really, really stereotypical, and I hate it. No, I really, really hate it. Because, I mean, to be honest, I really would like to know, like, Vincent van Gogh, no? Because they say, like, I mean, and it's like, I never really trust his stories. Nobody can really say if what the books or the stories are telling you is true. But I don't know. I would like to know like his story, no? And there are many theories, for example, about the his most famous painting. It's like some people say it's like sorry, I don't remember the theories right now. But there are many theories, and I would like to know like what is the truth, no? What really happened, and what was going through his life, through his mind, what he wanted to do, and also like I think I tell him not like because again I don't really believe everything history says, but they say like he never sold a single painting when he was alive. So I would like to tell him not like, okay, just for you to know, when you are dead, your paintings are going to be very famous, no? So I don't know if that would make him feel like even more miserable, no? Like I am going to die and nothing is going to be sold, or it's like, oh well, at least I'm going to be important in the future. No, I don't know.
I get it. Hazen.
Again, this is tough. This is a very tough question. From the top of my head, I would think Hieronymus Bosch, Joseph Mallory, William Turner, Jimi Hendrix, John Lennon, and Jose Clemente Orozco. Yeah, those would be my top guys.
And finally, guys, as you know, art has been around for a very, very long time. But what age, year, or even century would you have loved to witness related to art? Carmen.
Okay. Well, I mean, because now, I don't know. It's a very difficult question, you know, because for example, of course, I would have liked to witness, for example, like how they created the most famous paintings, no? As I told, like the Mona Lisa or the Sistine Chapel thing, that are like these great pieces of history, no? But then I also think like, okay, probably as a woman, I wouldn't have had like really a chance, no? Or not so much. And I think, I mean, probably that, or in the other hand, like the very beginning of arts, no? Like these prehistorical arts that are like the first thing that people started to create, and see how it really happens, no? Because the further you go in history, the less we know. So it's like, okay, if I could see something with my eyes, I would like to see the beginning of arts, no? Like how everything started, yes, only that.
Okay. What about you, Hazen?
Okay. It also gave me, I'm thinking, there's a lot of very interesting periods in art. One that I think one of the most coveted one for me would be to see the Great Teotihuacan, to see the pyramid of the sun and the moon painted and stuff, and see all the sculptures that they had, or Palenque in their prime, both archaeological sites, see them in their prime. I think it would be mind-blowing for me, because I love archaeology, and I love antique art also. But again, it's difficult because the Impressionist period in the 1800s, I love Impressionism, and I feel that Paris in that time had a lot of intellectuals and a lot of artists. I mean, it will be like a very interesting place to be in those times. And as a Mexican, I am very fond of muralism. So also, just to say, this is recent, but to see the muralist at work would have been mind-blowing for me. Work al fresco and all that. But again, it's difficult. I love art history. Also, I would love to see the Renaissance, the peak of the Renaissance. Oof. Yeah, it's a tough question.
All right, guys, but it got the hoped result. Like I said, it's a get to know you guys a little bit better, and I am thankful for everything that you share with us, and I'm thankful for everything that you said. To all of our viewers, whom I also thank for tuning in, guys. It's time to wrap things up, but you are always welcome in the Let's Talk show. Looking forward to see you guys soon, and have a nice evening. And for all of our viewers, in the description, you will have the link of Carmen and Hazen respectively, so you can check their work out. You can check what they're all about. Be sure to click them, be sure to follow them, and also be sure to follow weekly our Let's Talk sessions. Carmen was with us, Hazen was with us, Eric Rios was in the controls. I am Mike Reese, your host. Thank you so much. Goodbye and good night. Bye.